So this is a delightfully simple project. It's a little bit science-y. It's definitely very eco, and it's just a chance to get your hands dirty and have some fun. We're going to be making something called Seedbombs. So you can see this giant bag of seeds is going to be available. We're going to mix that together with some clay and some dirt to make these little medallions. And when you soak these medallions, you can actually plant them and some plants will grow. We have a list of the plants that are included in this seed mix. It is a native seed mix. It is good for our bumblebees, and a copy of that list will be available in the supplies. The amount of clay that I hand out is usually, as you can see there, it's about the amount that you would get in one of these little mini cups, these little applesauce cups. A little bit more than a gumball will also work as well. You're also gonna need some dirt, you're gonna need some water, and you're gonna need some seeds. So these cups will be available to you, and you'll want to fill them up with these various materials. And then I'll show you how to combine them in order to make these seed bombs. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the clay and I like to flatten it out. I'm going to turn it into like a little bowl shape. If you have any clay experience, you might recognize this as some real rudimentary pinch pot making. Then I'm going to add some water. I want the surface to be a little bit slippery and a little bit sticky because as I start to add in this dirt, I want to make sure it doesn't just fly everywhere because it's pretty dried out. You're gonna see me mixing the dirt and a little bit of water, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of water in order to make a mud. I don't want it to be too soupy because then it'll just squish out when I go to mix it. But I also, again, don't want it to be super dry because then it doesn't stick very well and it gets really, really challenging to keep it together. There will be some paper towels and some plates in your nest of supplies, so make sure that everyone has one of those while they're working. Otherwise, it can get a little bit messy. There will also be some spoons, just so you know, so people can use spoons to measure out these materials if they don't want to just use their hands. So you can see I'm sort of working and filling this little bowl, this little depression up with as much dirt as I can, and I'm trying to keep it pretty wet. As I start to squish it into a burrito or a taco, which is what I like to call it, you can see there's actually a little bit extra water squishing out. So I'm gonna add a little more dirt to try and keep that water kind of seeping out, keep that to a minimum. And then I'm just gonna start squishing it together. It looks like a taco at the beginning, becomes kind of a burrito because it gets closed up. Then I almost call it a dumpling at a certain point because it starts to completely close up. You can see me work it back and forth. The clay will split every once in a while and show the dirt that's on the inside. If a little bit falls out, don't worry about it. Just keep working it, just keep squishing it between your hands. After a certain point, it's gonna start to mix together really well, and I can actually just take the piece of clay and tap it against the table, and that will pick up any of those extra bits of dirt that fell down. I'm gonna keep working this between my hands for quite a while. People say, how much dirt should I add? When do I know when I'm done? And I always like to describe, I want you to add as much dirt as you can until it feels like the clay just can't take anymore. There will be a point when you have so much dirt in there that the clay doesn't really want to hold together, and that's usually the point that I'm aiming for. I would say it takes usually at least a couple tablespoons of dirt, and it can take a little bit more. It is definitely subjective. It is more art than science. So yeah, I use this metric of when it feels like the clay can't take any more dirt, then you're ready to move on to the next step. When the clay has so much dirt in it that it's starting to break apart, it won't really stick together correctly, then you know you're ready to start adding seeds. I usually test it by smoothing it out with my thumb, and I want to get up close and see, okay, can I see the particles of dirt in there? If you start to see little bits of twig and little bits of debris, then that means that it's fully incorporated and you have plenty of dirt mixed in with your clay. The risk that you run if you don't have enough dirt in there is that when you go to actually soak these and let them start to germinate, let the seeds start to grow, if there's too much clay, the seeds actually can't push through the clay. It dries out and becomes too tough. So you're trying to make it soft enough that the seeds have a fighting chance to survive. Now I'm going to sprinkle a few pinches of seeds in there. Again, it's maybe a tablespoon worth of seeds for all of this clay. And once again, I'm going to close it up and start mixing it. Now, some of the science behind why we're doing this is we are trying to create basically an environment that will be really beneficial to the seeds when they start to germinate eventually. We're making sure we have the right amount of clay and the right amount of soil so that the substrate will stay kind of wet while the seeds are germinating. And it will also be firm enough that it can support the delicate roots of some of these native plants while also being soft enough that they can sort of break through and start growing. We are going to be taking this mixture once we feel like we've got enough, and we are going to roll it into a little bit of a ball. This thing, I guess I would say that this is probably about gumball sized amount of clay, and I like to just flatten it and smooth out the edges a bit. You can play around with shape if you want. Sometimes I'll turn them into stars or hearts, but all we really need to do is make this little medallion. And when I look up close at the surface, I can see all of that good texture, the seeds and the soil, and that's how I know that I have it well mixed together, well incorporated, and I'm ready to decorate this one. Participants should have 3 to 5 of these when they're finished, and the last thing that they can do if they want is they can decorate. I tend to not scratch with the stylus like I'm showing there. You actually can sort of dislodge the seeds and pop them out, so it's not the best idea. I usually just take the butt end of one of these styluses and I will poke in a design. I'm just gonna make this little seed bomb happy, although it's also kind of fun to put in bees or flowers, just as a little reminder as to what this little medallion of dirt is, just in case you should forget. And when people take these home, they should know that they should let them dry completely, and then say next spring when they want to plant, they will just soak them for 5-10 minutes tops. They will start to break down pretty quickly, so you don't want to soak them for too long. And then you're going to take that dampened clay, that dampened soil, you're going to put it in a planter or put it in a patch of dirt, water it regularly, and with any luck, you'll have some native plants start growing.